الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين خاتم النبيين محمد صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم والصلاة والسلام على أهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين المظلومين واللعن الله على أعدائهم أجمعين. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Continuing on the masails and the reminder for us all of Mahi Ramadan and fasting. Last week we discussed 5 items that break the fast, and this is first eating and drinking, of course, we all know that, and having any form of sexual intercourse, masturbation, ascribing false things to Allah, Rasulullah, and the Imams of the time, or all the Imams of the Ahlul-bayt ﷺ, and causing dust, thick dust, to reach the throat. Continuing, the 6th item. Can you hear us now? The 6th item is one should be in a state of ritual purity at the time of Fajr in Mahi Ramadan, meaning if there is ghusl that is due, it must be done before the time of Fajr. And that is for hayd, nifas, as well as that is for the women, as well as janaba for both. Now, if in the month of Mahi Ramadan, if there are any questions, you can stop me, inshallah, we will try and answer as many as possible. If in the month of Ramadan a person is in janaba, intentionally does not perform his ghusl until the time of Fajr, or if his duty is to perform tayammum, where in case he has to do his ghusl, but because he can't do it and has to do tayammum, and if he does not do it intentionally and does not perform it before the time of Fajr, then his fast will be invalidated. That is, it will be batil. It has to be done before the time of Fajr enters. In the event that a person who is in the state of janaba on the night of the month of Mahi Ramadan does not perform ghusl until the time of remaining to Fajr becomes short, then he must perform tayammum and keep his fast, and his fast will be valid. Meaning that if one is in a state of janaba and did not perform his ghusl in time, and now by the time he actually woke up for ghusl, his intention is to do ghusl, but there isn't enough time. In that case, he must perform his tayammum and his fast would be valid. If a person who is in the state of janaba on a night of Mahi Ramadan knows that if he goes to sleep, he will not wake up. So he knows that it's not his normal to wake up at that time, and he knows he will not wake up, and then goes to sleep without doing his ghusl and does not wake up. Of course, he did not have the intention also, or he knows that he doesn't wake up at that time. As a ihtiyat wajib, he must not go to sleep without performing the ghusl. It is ihtiyat wajib at that time to do your ghusl before you go to sleep. If you know you can't wake up, then you must do your ghusl at that time. And in the event he chooses to go to sleep before doing his ghusl and does not wake up until the time of Fajr, he must complete the fast of that day and give a qada, as well as a kafara becomes wajib on him. So if one knowingly does not perform his ghusl, knowingly that he will not wake up and goes to sleep and does not wake up before Fajr, then in that case there is a qada as well as a kafara to be given. When a person is in the state of janaba, now here it says when a person becomes muhtalim during sleep, but it is generally for any form of janaba, and he does not, has a certainty that he will wake up, then there are three stages in which we must understand this masail. The first sleep, the second sleep, and the third sleep. Now these are reminders for most of us, but we need to know them because Maha Ramadan is coming and we must not take this lightly. And we have to first establish what is this first, second and third sleep. The time of ihtilam, that is ejaculation, that when it happens, that sleep, if it happens in sleep or if it happens before one is asleep, then that time is not considered as first sleep. But he knows he is going to wake up. And he goes to sleep and he does not wake up for Fajr. That particular day he could not wake up. He had intention to wake up and make himself tahir, but did not wake up. In that case, his fast is valid and there is no problem with that. He will do his ghusl for salat and that is all. So there is no problem if you go to sleep, if knowingly that you will wake up. Not, oh, it's okay. No, it's not okay. Knowingly that you will wake up, but you overslept on that particular day, then in that case, your fast is valid. However, when one goes to sleep, wakes up in the middle of the night and says, oh, there is still a lot of time, so I will wake up before Fajr, and then goes to sleep again and does not wake up. Now this is second sleep. In that case, he will complete his fast and at the same time give qada for it. Now it happens twice. He slept thinking that he will wake up. He woke up and he says, no, I still time. He goes back to sleep. Again he wakes up and goes back to sleep for the third time now. That is the third sleep. And does not wake up. Then in that case, he will do his fast. He will give a qada for it. And it is ihtiyat mustahab. He will also give a kafara for it. Now we will discuss kafara and fidya after we finish this. But this is for what we must understand, the first, second and third sleep. However, as a matter of caution, not only Maha Ramadan, even normally, it is makruh to sleep, eat or drink in the state of janaba. So if one is in a state of janaba, the best thing is to make oneself tahir and do his ghusl, his or her ghusl, and it is all in order then. Now, if somebody becomes muhtalim during the day, when he's fasting, his fast is valid, there is no problem. Unless he has himself initiated that, then it is a different matter, then it goes into a different category. But if one becomes muhtalim during the daytime, his fast is valid, and there is no wajibat that he must immediately go and do ghusl. No. As long as namaz is not getting qada, one is fine. Say for example, it is 9 o'clock in the morning, namaz, you have done your fajr, your next namaz is zohar, the next namaz is not becoming qada until say 7 o'clock, I'm just saying a number, it's 7 o'clock in the evening. So until that time you are fine. It is okay if you do not do the ghusl immediately. When a person wakes up in the month of Ramadan after Fajr and finds himself that he has to do ghusl of janaba, he has become muhtalim, his fast is in order even if he realizes and knows that he became muhtalim in the night, not at that time. So it is okay if he woke up at that time after Fajr and found himself in that state, so then his fast is okay. If a person whose wajibat is to do tayammum, after getting into the state of janabat, it is not necessary for him that after he performs tayammum to stay awake till the time of Fajr. No, he can sleep after that. If the tayammum is what he has to do, he cannot do ghusl and has to do tayammum, then there is no problem. He can do his tayammum and sleep thereafter. Now, this masails are for haiz, nifas and janabat only. If one touches a dead body, ghusl masse mayit becomes wajib, but that does not affect one's fast, whether it is during the day or the night. There is no problem. If one touches a dead body, one goes to do ghusl mayyit and has to touch the dead body. There is ghusl mayyit that becomes wajib, touching of the dead body, but that does not affect one's fast. Yes, one cannot pray with that state. One will have to do ghusl before salat. However, as far as fast is concerned, touching of dead body does not invalidate the fast in any way. Now, there are some women's masails, but I would advise the women to talk to some of our ladies who are familiar with these things. And if there is anything that we can do, you can call me. There is no problem. But however, if there are women that can explain to you the details of haiz and nifas and istihaza better, and inshallah you will contact them if you need to know some certain things. Now, the seventh item that breaks the fast or invalidates the fast is inserting liquid enema that is taken by a fasting person. His fast becomes batil. Enema, liquid enema, makes the fast batil, even if he is obliged to take it for the sake of treatment. Say he is in a situation where the treatment necessitates, even then the fast of that day will be batil and the qada will become wajib for him. Vomiting intentionally is the eighth thing that breaks the fast, and that is if one vomits intentionally. If one vomits unintentionally or involuntarily, then there is no problem with it. There is no problem with the fast. Now, there are certain aspects that are makruh during fasting, and we must know these things so that because we are doing this in obedience to Allah, so let us make our fast the best. Now, when we talk about fiqh, we must also understand that fiqh is the baseline. There is a higher level of fasting and higher level of any ibadah beyond fiqh. So, when we are talking of fiqh, that is the bottom line. We cannot go below that. That is what we need to do. And these are makruhat. So let us make our fast better, and we'll just go through certain things here. It says, there are certain things that are disapproved for a fasting person. Putting medication in the eyes and applying surma or collyrium in a way that the taste or smell of that surma, which is very strong, comes to the throat. That is makruh. Doing anything that causes weakness, such as giving blood. Say I know myself that by giving blood I will become very weak. It may even break my fast because I will not be able to sustain it if one knows about it, then it is makruh to do it at that time during the time of fasting. Putting medication in the nose, if one does not know that it will reach the throat, and if one knows that it will reach the throat, it is still not permitted. There is, if it is makruh, then it becomes batil. So if I take a medication through the nose, that means I don't know that it will reach the throat, it is okay, then it is makruh to do it unless it is absolutely necessary. But if I know that by doing it, it will reach my throat, then in that case the fast becomes batil. Smelling of aromatic plants for women sitting in water, using a suppository, making the clothes or the body wet all the time, gargling too much during the day because it is hot and we are during summer in Maha Ramadan, having a tooth extracted or doing anything that causes blood to come out of the mouth. Now, brushing the teeth with a wet toothbrush is makruh. Brushing is not forbidden during fasting, but with a wet toothbrush is makruh. We should be careful. putting water or any other fluid in the mouth without due cause. It's just hot, so I want to refresh myself, and without any due cause, I just want to put water or any liquid in the mouth to throw it away. Of course, even that is makruh. Immersing the entire head in water. Now, some of us may be remembering the previous masala of the previous mujtahideen, where they used to tell us the fast would break. According to Ayatullah Sistani, it is makruh to immerse one's head totally in water. It does not break the fast. Correct? That does not break the fast. It is also disapproved, that is makruh, for anyone to have any form of foreplay with even one's own spouse, which will arouse him even without having any intention of ejaculation. Even then, it is makruh to be under those sort of things. Now, there is three things that we must understand as far as repayment is concerned, or what we say. One is qada, repaying of a fast. Second is kafara, that is what we would call recompense. And third is fidya, which we would say it is a redemption sort of thing. And we will discuss these things. I know time is running out, but we need to cover a few things today before we move any forward, inshallah, because we only have next week as the last week before Ramadan begins. Now, if a person invalidates a fast of the month of Ramadan by eating, drinking, having sexual intercourse, any form of masturbation, remaining in the state of janaba until the time of Fajr, intentionally or voluntarily, and he was not compelled to do so, then in addition to qada, kafara becomes wajib on him. So in these five things, there is no compulsion that I have to be in a state of janaba, unless I am in such situation that I have no way out. But then I did it voluntarily or intentionally, then in that case, not only is qada wajib, but one kafara has also to be paid. And when I say kafara is to be paid, there is an action in sequence that we will talk about shortly, inshallah. As for someone who invalidates his fast by means other than these five, the recommended precaution is that in addition to qada, he should also give kafara. So there it becomes ihtiyate mustahab. Now, kafara are three types. When we are told give any one of the three kafara, I can choose any one of the three. First is to free a slave. Second is to fast for 2 months for each fast that requires kafara, fasting for 2 months, in which the first 31 has to be consecutive, and then the remaining 29 can be done as we go for every fast. And third is to feed 60 poor people, or give each one of them approximately 3/4 kilograms of wheat, barley, bread, or anything like that, grains as we say. So this is the three types of kafara that we have to give. In the event that none of this is possible, for example, today we don't know of slavery, and we know that there are no slaves, at least on paper. I can't do it. Or I can't fast for 60 days. It's not possible for me. Or I cannot even feed the 60 poor people, and I can't do any one of the three because I don't have enough income or whatever. In that case, one has to give charity to the extent that he can, and if this is not possible, he must seek forgiveness of Allah. And the ihtiyat wajib is that he must give kafara whenever he is able. Say today I am unable, but 2 years later my state became better, and I can do it, I must do it. He must do it. If a person invalidates his fast by means of something unlawful, whether that thing is fundamentally unlawful, like wine or adultery, or something that has become unlawful to a particular reason, like eating lawful food that is in a general sense harmful for him, or having an intercourse with his spouse when the wife is in the state of haid. In these cases, giving one kafara is sufficient. Now, this masail is a little different. One is enough. If a fasting person intentionally attributes anything that is not correct to Allah, or which is a lie to Allah, by saying this is in the Quran when it is not knowingly, or Rasulullah or the Aimma alayhimus salam, it is not wajib on him to give kafara. It is qadha becomes wajib only. The primary recipient of a kafara is a Shia Muslim. When we give out for the feeding of 60 people or fidya, it is a Shia Muslim that is the primary recipient. If one knows of a person who has no hatred towards the Ahlul-bayt, and there is a possibility of him being inclined to the faith, then he can also be helped by kafara or fidya or even zakat. Now we are going to talk about zakat, fitra later on in the month of Ramadan, inshallah, but that is not in this part. What it means is that whenever we have to give a kafara or a fidya or a zakat, then a Shia is a primary recipient. But say there is a non-Shia who is having no hatred to the Ahlul-bayt or is inclined towards the faith, then there is no problem. We will stop here, inshallah. We will do the masails of fidya. We'll start with fidya next week. If there is any questions, please feel free. ربنا تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع العليم وتب علينا إنك أنت التواب الرحيم والحمد لله رب العالمين. Before I sit down, I regret to announce that Brother Ali Ramtullah has passed away tonight in the night. Inshallah, we are working on the funeral arrangements, and you should check your emails later in the day for the details of the burial, inshallah. Rahmallahu man kara suratil mubarakatil Fatiha.
محمد وآل محمد صلوات.